everyone, today we're going to be talking about how to find the volume of a rectangular prism. So go ahead and either get out a piece of notebook paper or you can print out this notes page that's attached on Canvas and have something to write with because you will need to be taking some notes during this video. So we're going to start with the definition of volume. So the volume of a three-dimensional object is the number of unit cubes that can fill the inside of the shape. So we want it to be completely full. Think of a rectangular prism fish tank, and it is full of water. The amount of water that fills the entire tank is the volume of the prism. So let's define what a rectangular prism is. You're very familiar with them. It looks like any Amazon box that you would receive, any fish tank. Lots of examples of rectangular prisms, but they are prisms that have two bases that are congruent, which means they're the same size and same shape, and parallel, which means they will never intersect with each other. On a rectangular prism, the bases will always be rectangles. That is how you know which type of prism you are looking at. If the bases are triangles, then you're talking about a triangular prism. The height of the prism is the distance between the two bases, so between the bases. All right, let's look at some examples and label the bases and the height. So we're going to shade in our bases with one color, and then we're going to label the height. Typically, your base will be the top and the bottom. So if the bottom is your base rectangle, then it has a parallel and congruent rectangle, which would be the one on the top. Those are the same shape, same size, and they will never touch each other. So those are our bases, and then the height is the distance that connects them. So all of these distances is the height. Those are all the same. Okay, so on the second one, we can call the top and the bottom the bases. We're going to shade them in. And then the side that connects the two bases together would be our height. Now on the last one, I'm going to change it up a bit. I'm not going to shade in the top and the bottom because I don't have to. I can shade in the sides as long as they are congruent and parallel. They can be considered the base. So those two I could consider as bases. The only difference is it'll change where my height is. So now my height, the distance that connects the bases, is down here. So I suggest while we're starting to do it this way, using the top and the bottom as the bases, okay? Just know later on in future problems, it could be different. But for right now, we're just focusing on the top and the bottom as the bases. So if I were to redo that last one with the top and bottom as bases, it would look like this. Bottom, top, and then the height would be on this side like the other ones. Okay, that's typically how you'll see it. Now let's go into talking about the formula. So this formula for a rectangular prism, volume V equals big B H. It's a little different than the one that you're used to seeing. Typically you're used to working with length times width times height. So let's go ahead and label what you're used to on your picture above. So the length would be this distance. The width would be on the side, and the height would be where it is currently labeled. So that's what you're used to seeing. It's the same thing that we're going to be doing today. We're just calling it something different. So the formula that you will see from here on out for volume of a prism is V equals big B H. Now this is different than little b times H, and I'll show you why. When we talk about big B, that means that we're talking about the area of the base shape. So we're talking about area. This means you have to solve for it first. You will not find this on the picture labeled. So you have to solve for big B. Now, on a rectangular prism, we said our bases are rectangles. So you can find area of a rectangle by doing length times width or little b times h, base times height. Okay, So we're going to solve for that big B first, and then we will use that area of the base in our volume formula. So just like we would do here, we would do length times width. That's still finding that area of the base. So essentially we're doing the same exact thing. We're just renaming that big B. Then we are still going to multiply it by the height of the prism. So H still stands for height. So we're still doing length times width times height. We're just renaming that length times width as big B. The reason we're doing that is because this is the formula you will use for all types of prisms. So even if you have a triangular prism, which we're not going to learn about right now, but you will in 7th and 8th grade, you will still be using big B times H to find the volume. Now, when you have a triangle as your base, you're not going to do length times width. You're going to use the formula for area of a triangle. So just know that this is the formula you need to be familiar with, because that big B can change depending, the big B formula can change depending on the shape of the base, since that means you're finding the area of the base. Now let's talk about the units real quick. Because volume is the amount of unit cubes that fill an object, the units are expressed as units cubed. So units with a 3 above it. Okay, so example, if you have a rectangular prism that has the dimensions 2 inches, 4 inches, and 3 inches, our units are going to be in inches. So that means our little unit cube that we're going to use to fill that prism is going to be a little cube that is 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch. Okay, so we're talking about how many little cubes we can fill this with. So we're going to say that our units are inches cubed. It's just an example. So let's look at problem number 1. We're first going to start by writing our formula down. You can find it on your formula chart. V equals big B H. Make sure you're writing the formula with the big B, because whenever you see a capital letter, that means you have to solve for it first. Okay, so that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to solve for big B. So we need to go and find the base shape on our rectangular prism. Remember, when we're dealing with rectangular prisms, our base is going to be a rectangle. Okay, so solving for B, so B means area of base, and we have a rectangle, so we're going to do little b times h to solve for that area. Okay, so my 2 dimensions that I'm going to use for area is my base of 7 and my height of 5, or length times width, same thing. And that will give me 35. So that's not my answer. A lot of people tend to stop there, but don't stop there, because that's not the volume, that's the area. So this is what big B means. Now we need to plug that into the formula. So we're going to do volume equals my big B times H. I can replace big B with 35 because I just calculated that. And then I need to look at my picture again to find my height. The height is the other dimension that you haven't used yet. So we're going to say times 4. And then if you multiply that out, you should get 140. But we're not finished because we need our units. So go back up and look to see what the measurements are in. Feet, feet, and feet. So our answer will have feet. And then we're talking about volume. We did 3 dimensions times each other. So 3-dimensional volume gets a cubed on the end. Okay, now I want you to try number 2 on your own and then check your work. First step is to always write your formula. V equals big B times H. We need to solve for big B, so that is the area of your base. So find your base shape, and we're going to use 10 and 3. Those are the dimensions of the base. We have a rectangle that's a 10 by 3. To find the area, we do length times width, or little b times h. 10 times 3 equals 30. So that's what big B means. It's 30. Now we're going to plug that into our volume formula. Volume equals big B We can replace that big B with what we just solved, with 30. And then I need to find my height. The height connects the two bases, and it's the dimension you have not used yet. So it's 4. 30 times 4 is 120. And then I need to find my units. So go back to your picture. These were measured in inches. So our answer is going to be in inches cubed, because we're talking about volume. If we were just talking about area, they would only be squared. Okay, last one. Do it on your own and then check your work. So volume equals big B times H. I'm going to solve for big B first. That's area of the base. So little b times H. My base shape is a 4 by 5 rectangle. So 4 times 5 is 20. Then I can plug that in for B. So now I have B. I can do 20. And then my height is going to be the distance I have not used yet, which is 10, equals 200 meters cubed. Okay, thank you guys for watching. We're going to continue to practice this throughout the week. Let us know if you have any questions.